excuse the really horrific lighting. I have decided for some reason to start this vlog at like 10 p.m. even though I really shouldn't have, and I should have done this earlier in the day when there was like actual daylight coming in through the windows. But no, I'm starting this at 9 or 10 p.m. because it's January 2nd and I haven't picked up a book yet. So we're gonna do that. And because I don't know what I want to read, I'm gonna use my TBR jar for the first time in a really long time. And my TBR jar is on the shelf and it's behind Anne, which was actually a gift from one of my friends from Canada. We're going to take out the TBR jar. And how do I want to do this? Let's put it on... Should I just put it on the shelf and then you guys can watch me like pick? Okay, so this TBR jar is outdated and I forgot what is in here. So we're gonna go to the middle, and I know that at the very least I picked like all first books in series and put them in here. I also have a little thing that indicates to me if it's an ebook or an audiobook, but I wrote all of these down. So we're going to open this now. I drew this from the very middle. Can I open this? Actually, do you guys want to see it first? I mean, I can see it in like the viewfinder and all, but do you guys want to see it first? Never mind, I'll see it first. Nothing but Black and Teeth. We are starting the year with a horror. I'm reading Nothing But Black and Teeth, which has a scary enough cover, and before my battery dies, let me just grab it. And jump scare warning, this is the cover. On the bright side, it's a very thin book. We're starting the year with a horror. This is not gonna go well. I was gonna read this tonight too, and I'm such a scaredy cat. Am I gonna be able to sleep? Oh my gosh. It's been quite a few days since I filmed that first clip of me like getting my book out of the TBR jar, and I realized the fundamental issue with me filming this video is that this book is 125 pages. I am about 57 pages in right now. I'm like not quite halfway, but like almost halfway with this. I'm enjoying it so far. I read 3 chapters all at night. It's not scary yet. The main character has had her first encounter with this figure already, but I'm not scared yet. I was actually quite okay last night, and I think maybe because I was really tired, I fell asleep. Absolutely no problem. Which I wasn't expecting because I'm such a scaredy cat that like usually anything horror related I'm not good with. This has been completely fine so far. I'm liking it. I'm liking the plot. I'm not sure how I feel about the writing style because the writing style is... Sorry, you might be able to hear my cat in the background with her litter box. The writing style is very, like, descriptive, but not in the way of, like, descriptive about the place. Oh, okay. No, it is. It's just, like... Okay, let me just read you a line so you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's descriptive about the characters in a way that I know is supposed to give us more idea of their backstory because this is a novella. It's a short story. It's very small, right? But I feel like it's telling me things rather than letting me infer things about the characters, and I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so this is like a description of one of the characters, the main character's friend. Philip dropped his suitcases at the door and palmed the back of his neck, looking sheepish. His varsity jacket, still perfectly fitted to his broad quarterback frame, blazed indigo and yellow where it caught the sun. In the dusk, the letters of his name were gilt and glory and good stitching. Poster boy perfect, everyone craved him like a vice. And there are like beautiful lines here, like, when the main character is talking about herself and she says, I hadn't spoken to Lynn since before I checked myself into the hospital for terminal ennui, exhaustion so acute it couldn't be sanitized with sleep, couldn't be remedied by anything but the twist of a rope tugged tight. There's some really beautiful lines, but then there are other things and like other ways in which characters are described and like moments and feelings are described where I feel like it's overdoing the characterization. It's just every time a character gets brought up, there's a description that adds to the backstory, adds to certain things, but a lot of it's repetitive and just different beautiful language, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I would love for the descriptions to be a little more focused on the setting and the space that they're in, because I feel like that would add a lot to the tone of this and to the creepiness. And it's there, but it's overwhelmed by the description of the characters. So, I don't know. I'll probably finish this today, because it's so short. And then I realized this vlog would just like immediately be over. So while I was out, because I brought my camera out because I thought I was going to be vlogging outdoors, because I had an appointment with Apple. I thought I was going to be vlogging outdoors, and I could have when I like stopped to do something really quickly, but I just, it wasn't on my mind in the moment because I knew I needed to get home by a certain time. I borrowed from Libby a horror book. I don't know why. And also this like entirely goes against me choosing for my TBR jar. So like I may just pick something from my TBR jar next and go with that because I am going to be flying in a couple days. So I might bring a couple books with me. But I also just downloaded this because Kayla from Books and Lala has put out her like top books of the year and
like her brackets thing, and I was like, you know what? She's been talking so much about Paul Tremblay. I should read Paul Tremblay. She mentioned one that she read this year, which was horror movie. So I've downloaded a horror movie. Like, am I setting myself up for failure by reading 2 horror novels? Maybe. But I also feel like this vlog needs to be longer than just me reading this one single book. So I'll finish this. I'm going to watch some anime while I eat my very late lunch because it's like 2:30. I'm going to finish this probably today and then update you guys on my thoughts, and depending on how much footage there is, I may or may not start a different book so that you can see like my first 2 reads of the year instead of my first read of the year, because this is 125 pages. I need to pack for my US trip, and I want to do something other than just watch TV while I'm doing that. So I'm going to put an audiobook on Audible. I'm gonna go with Local Woman Missing, but actually no, I'm gonna go with Wrong Place Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I'm gonna just play this while I pack because I would like something to listen to. And honestly, having read a little more of Nothing But Black and Teeth, I don't know how I feel about it. How do I say this except for the fact that I thought it would terrify me and it's not scaring me at all? And I think a lot of it is just the descriptions of the environment are not scary enough. The descriptions of the people are overdone for me, and I want more descriptions of the environment, of the horror, of all of that. I'm not getting that as much compared to, like, you get a description of horror and then you get the description of the characters and like their personalities and their life story. I don't care. I want to feel scared and I'm not being scared. I have 40 more pages and then I'm done. So I'll finish that today, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna listen to this, and I'm gonna listen to it at whatever speed I want to, because Audible and their ad can go suck an egg. I don't care that it's recorded at 1x speed, and some people think that's the only way you should listen to audiobooks. You listen to them at whatever speed you want to, and I'm gonna start at 2.5 and work my way up from there. So time to get packing. Also, I just want to say a lot of the stuff that's already in here is just after my Hong Kong trip. I just put the clean laundry back there because it's like kind of wintry clothes, but I'm gonna take some of this out because I don't need all of it, so I'm just gonna like repack stuff, and you guys are welcome to a time lapse while I listen to my book, I guess. I need to look for my winter coat and I don't know where it is. It's in the storage room somewhere and I don't know exactly which box it's in. It could be in a bunch of different boxes and I might have to ask my mom. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna have to move some stuff back into the storage room. But yeah, I have no idea where my winter coat is. So I should probably go figure that out, and I'm gonna go do that now. I'm enjoying the audiobook so far. I've gotten further in it than I did in the ebook version when I last tried to read it. I was just really bored with the ebook version, and I think having it told to me makes it somehow better. I don't know why. I'm like some part of the way into this. I'm listening at 2.6 speed. So far it's like fine. So the premise of Wrong Place Wrong Time is that this mother witnesses her son kill a man, and it's like minutes after daylight savings hits. For some reason they go to the police station, and when they come back she goes to sleep, she wakes up, it's the day that it happened, the morning up. She thinks she prevents it, goes back to sleep, and it's the day before, and she like keeps going further and further back in time. And I think the whole point is that she's supposed to be able to stop this and figure out what exactly is going on and why her son ends up killing this man in her front lawn, a man she's never met, a man who's like much older than her son. I don't know, it's like fine so far. I heard about this and I thought I heard about this a while ago and I thought the premise was interesting, and I'm still interested in listening to it, so like that's obviously why I got it from Audible. Do I think it's going to be a great book? Probably not. Do I think it's going to be a good book to help me pass the time while I search for my winter coat? Yes. So I'm going to turn the camera off, I'm going to put this back on, and then I'm going to go move a bunch of boxes because I have no idea where my winter coat is. I've officially finished my first 2 reads of 2025 and it feels pretty good. So let's talk about Nothing But Black and Teeth first, even though this is the second book I finished. This is the one I finished most recently, just like a couple minutes ago. It's short and I think that is to its benefit. I did not really like this book. I did not find it scary. There was one moment where I was kind of like a disgusted feeling, but not scared. I'm gonna try and make this quick because I'm actually running out of battery on both my batteries and I totally did not charge it and I totally forgot about that. I didn't really end up liking this a lot. I enjoyed the idea of it, which is basically these 5 friends go to a haunted place together and they go in search of this legend of a ghost woman. It was interesting, but the execution just wasn't there for me. As I mentioned in some other clips, I didn't really like the way the characters were being written about. I didn't feel like the descriptions were very helpful, to be perfectly honest. If that was applied to the atmosphere and the setting a little more and the horror itself, I think it could have been really different, but so much of it was just applied to the characters, and like even literally towards the end when like fights were happening, it was all about like, oh, this guy's just really beautiful, that guy's not as attractive, this guy is like smart and snarky and like doing, and I completely forgot what I was saying before my battery died, but basically this was a letdown. I feel like I've said enough in my other clips to let you know that this wasn't really for me. I will potentially be trying her other work though. I am interested in seeing what else she does. This being a novella, I think maybe was a little too long. I've heard good things about her short stories, but I've also heard good things about her other book that's titled Salt something. I am interested in seeing how I feel about that, but this I'm probably going to sell or donate or just give away because I don't think I'm going to keep it. For a venture into horror, it didn't scare me, and that's saying a lot because I'm someone who gets very easily scared when it comes to horror. Even reading it at night didn't ever like make me feel scared, so like I think that says a lot. I'm probably going to give this like 2.5, maybe 3 stars. I haven't quite settled on it yet, but if you follow me in Storygraph, you will find out about my rating eventually. It just wasn't really for me. And then I listened to Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which is actually the first book that I finished. I finished it while I was out getting some errands done and also just finishing up my packing before my trip today. And this reminded me so much of why I loved audiobooks to begin with and why I had such a good time with them during college and how I got through so many books, because like this is a 10-hour audiobook and I finished it. I started it yesterday and I finished it today because I listened at 3 times speed. So like it blew through for me. I think I listened for a total of like 3.5 hours and it went by so quickly for me. So the premise of the book is that Jen goes out one night and she sees her son outside coming back from like a Halloween party of sorts. And as he comes back, she goes out to greet him. She notices a man behind her son and all of a sudden her son is like yelling with the man, grappling with him, and takes something out and stabs the man, and like her son gets arrested. There's a bunch of things going on. They go to the police station and everything is a huge mess, and then she goes to bed finally after dealing with everything overnight, wakes up the next morning, and it is the day of the murder. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. She goes to bed, it's the day before the murder. And every day that she wakes up, she's going further and further back in time, and eventually she realizes that this is something she needs to do in order to figure out why the crime happened in the first place. It's a very interesting premise. I've started it as an ebook a couple times before, and it didn't really work for me then, but listening to it helped a lot. I thought it was really interesting to see Jen reliving these days and jumping back in time to figure out like things about her life, things about her family, things about her son. It was really interesting to see her reflect on her parenting and like how she wished she could have done certain things better throughout her life, getting to know her son better, paying a little more attention to him, being a little more mindful and being more attentive to him and like showing up for his events and stuff like that. I thought that was a really nice like side plot, like mini little thing that was going on as she was trying to figure out this crime. She connects with a physicist who tells her a lot of these things about time travel. While this is an unconventional kind of mystery because the stakes aren't really like you waiting for someone to die again or trying to find out a lot of other things. Like, it's already happened. You're just trying to figure out why it happened and what led up to this point. I thought that was a very interesting take on things. And throughout the story, we get another perspective sprinkled in where you don't really know how the two storylines connect. I quite like the writing. I quite like the characters. I did feel like it was perhaps because it was so focused on Jen doing the investigative work, you don't really get to see much of the other people in her life. You get to see them in bits and pieces and glimpses. Because she's reliving these days of her past, you don't get to see them as who they are now. You only get to see who they were, and you kind of get to see like what they become, right? But I felt like it was missing a little bit of the understanding of who they are in the moment and like when things first kicked off in the book. You see Jen change a lot throughout the story as she's investigating this murder, as she's figuring out why her son stabbed a man that they have never met before. But it's difficult to get to know the characters because going back in time means you don't know who someone is, you know who someone was. It wasn't a bad thing. I actually really liked the way it explored her son's character, to kind of get to watch him grow up or see the little things she missed or didn't notice about him the first time, and how she tries to fix things in little ways, like being more mindful of like getting dinner with him, or asking him about how his homework went, or praising him for a score he got on a test. These little moments felt a little more impactful and felt like they expanded on his character more than pretty much any other character that she interacted with. And it makes sense because this is about like a crime her son commits in the future, right? Or commits in the present, and she's going back in time to figure it out. I thought it was interesting. I had a good time listening to it. It wasn't anything spectacular. I did figure out one of the twists, and I was like pretty close on guessing another one of the twists as well. That's not to say that it's not an enjoyable mystery. I think just for me, as someone who's read a lot of mysteries, it was a little less surprising than I think it might be for some other people, but I still had a really good time, and it was a great accompaniment while I was packing, while I was running errands. At the end of the day, I think I'm going to give this probably around 3.5 stars. I don't think it's good enough to be a 4-star, but it's not like so mediocre that it was a 3-star. I think settling on a 3.5 is pretty good. It's not going to be one of my top books of the year. It's not going to be something that I recommend much unless it's to people who are, you know, very new to the mystery genre. But I did enjoy it, and I did have a good time. So I think a 3.5 stars is a very solid rating. And there we have my first 2 reads of the year. I did not expect to pick up an audiobook for this, but I kind of needed something that was going to make the vlog a little longer than me just reading a 125-page book, and I feel like I actually have a vlog length video now. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I'm probably going to look at my TBR jar to see if I maybe want to bring a physical book with me, or I also have my e-reader with me, and I might just stick with that for the plane because that is easier. I might just download a couple books. And I have my phone as well, so I can just listen to my audiobooks if I wanted to do that. But this was fun. It was a video I decided to do kind of at the last minute, and I'm glad I did it. It was fun to chronicle my first and second read of the year and to give you guys a bit of my thoughts about that, and to do these vlogs. I haven't done reading vlogs in a really long time, but I kind of want to get back into them because they're fun. I need to hop in the shower because I need to get to the airport soon, and I need to like pack up my last couple of things. But I hope you enjoyed watching the vlog. Let me know in the comments down below what your first read of the year was and how you felt about it, what your rating was, and I don't know if you would recommend it to me, I guess. I am always open to recommendations. So, this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!